Let them talk. Let them judge. Let them misunderstand you. Because while they're busy discussing your life, you'll be busy upgrading it. Remember, the loudest room in the world is silence. When you stop explaining and start evolving. So today ignore them and focus fiercely on yourself. Not everyone deserves access to you. Read that again. Not everyone. You see, life teaches you this lesson the hard way. You start out thinking everyone who smiles at you is genuine, everyone who supports you is loyal, and everyone who listens to you actually cares. But as time passes, you realize some people are just around for what they can take, not for what they can give. Some people love your light but not your fire. They love your energy but not your boundaries. That's when you have to wake up and decide who gets access and who doesn't. Think about it. You wouldn't hand your house keys to every stranger you meet on the street, right? So why do you hand the keys to your peace, your mind, your emotions, and your energy to people who haven't earned it? You can't expect everyone to respect your worth when you're giving it away for free. Your time, your attention, your presence. These are luxuries, not discounts. The more you give yourself freely to the wrong people, the less you'll have for the right ones. You know that one friend who only calls when they need something? The one who disappears when you're struggling but suddenly appears when things are good again? That's not love. That's convenience. People like that don't want you. They want your energy. They want your help, your kindness, your ideas, your strength. But when it's time to pour back into you, they suddenly go silent. You have to start recognizing who drains you and who fuels you. Protect your circle like your future depends on it. Because it does. Let's be real, not everyone clapping for you is happy for you. Some are clapping just to keep their hands busy while they wait for you to fail. That's why you need discernment, the ability to see beyond smiles and sense intentions. You can't save everyone. You can't please everyone. And you can't carry people who were never meant to walk beside you. Sometimes, loving yourself means loving people from a distance. You can forgive them, wish them well, and still remove them from your daily access. That's peace. Take social media, for example. We post our wins, our travels, our dreams, and we think everyone viewing is supportive. But no, some are watching to cheer, others are watching to compete, and a few are watching just to criticize. So why keep showing your every move to those who secretly want you to lose? Privacy is power. Let your moves stay silent until they become undeniable. Let your results do the talking. You don't owe anyone updates on your growth. Real power doesn't announce itself, it arrives and shocks everyone. Sometimes the ones you need to limit access to are the closest to you. Family, friends, even your partner. Because love doesn't mean unlimited access. You can love someone deeply and still say, this part of my life is mine. You can care for people without losing yourself in the process. There's a huge difference between being kind and being used. You can be available without being accessible. You can support without sacrificing your sanity. You can be generous and still say no. That's not being cold, that's being clear. Think about a smartphone. When your battery runs low, what happens? You plug it in. You don't keep giving your battery to other devices, right? Because you know your phone will die. Yet we do this emotionally every day. We keep giving our energy to people who never recharge us. Stop doing that. Your energy is your battery. Protect it. Only allow people who charge you, who uplift you, who add peace, not chaos. There's also the workplace. How many times have you seen someone go out of their way to impress coworkers who don't even care, or stay late for a boss who doesn't even notice? You don't have to overgive to prove your worth. Excellence speaks louder than exhaustion. You don't earn respect by burning out, you earn it by setting boundaries. Don't let your desire to be liked make you lose your identity. Respect yourself enough to say, I'm not available for this energy anymore. And yes, there will be people who say, you've changed. Let them talk. Growth will always look like betrayal to those who refuse to evolve. When you start prioritizing peace over approval, you'll confuse the world. They'll call you distant, rude, or proud. But what they don't realize is, you're just protecting your energy. You're just choosing peace over performance. You're just making sure that not everyone can walk through the doors of your mind and rearrange the furniture. You must treat access to you like a very important person pass. Not everyone can sit at your table. Some people can only wave from the crowd. Because when you allow everyone in, your space becomes chaos. But when you filter who enters, it becomes sacred. You have to earn that peace. You have to choose yourself the way you once chose others. You have to remember that not everyone's presence in your life is a blessing. Some are just lessons. And the truth is, when you start protecting your space, you'll lose people. People who only liked you when you were available for their drama, their gossip, their needs. But that's okay. The ones who truly love you will understand. They won't take your boundaries personally. They'll respect your distance because they know it's not rejection. It's self-respect. Every queen protects her throne, not because she hates the world, but because she values her crown. And your crown, your peace, your joy, your focus, is too precious to hand to anyone who doesn't see its worth. So remember, you're not closing yourself off. You're choosing wisely. The moment you start guarding your space, your mind becomes sharper, your energy clearer, and your path brighter. Because finally, you're surrounded not by noise, but by purpose. Silence is a superpower. But most people don't realize that. They think silence means weakness, that if you're quiet, you've lost. No. Silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you're choosing not to waste your words on people who don't deserve your energy. There's a deep strength in holding back, in not reacting, in not explaining, in simply walking away. Because silence is not the absence of power. It is the 8A presence of control. When you stop responding to every opinion, every insult, every misunderstanding, you reclaim your peace. You stop letting people control your emotions like switches they can turn on and off. That's what true strength looks like. Calm in chaos, stillness in noise, peace in provocation. When someone tries to drag you into drama and you choose silence instead, you've already won. You didn't let them own your mood. You didn't let their chaos become your identity. Think about it. When someone provokes you, they want a reaction. That's their control mechanism. They want your anger, your tears, your defense. But when you stay silent, you confuse them. They can't handle your calmness. They can't fight someone who doesn't swing back. It's like playing chess with someone who refuses to move. They lose power instantly. You become untouchable. Your silence becomes your shield. In everyday life, you see this everywhere. In relationships, when someone walks away just to test your reaction, silence makes them realize your peace can't be manipulated. In friendships, when gossip starts flying around, silence protects your dignity. You don't need to clear your name in rooms you never entered. Let your integrity speak where your voice doesn't reach. In work, when people doubt your abilities or criticize your ideas, silence keeps your focus intact. Because at the end of the day, results speak louder than explanations. You don't need to convince them. Just let your work do the talking. People mistake silence for surrender, but it's actually strategy. Think about storms. Before the biggest ones hit, there's always stillness. That quiet before the thunder? That's what your silence is. It's preparation, it's observation, it's protection. While they're shouting, you're studying. While they're reacting, you're learning. That's why when you finally move, you move with precision. Because silence gave you clarity. We live in a world where everyone wants to prove something. Everyone wants the last word, the loudest voice, the biggest opinion. But the most powerful people in the world are the ones who don't need to prove anything. They let their success, their composure, their results do all the talking. Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room usually has the least control, and the quietest one often holds all the power? That's not coincidence. That's silence working in its purest form. Look at nature. The sun doesn't announce its rise, it just appears, and the world lights up. The moon doesn't beg for attention, it glows in stillness. The ocean doesn't explain its depth, it just exists, vast, calm, and powerful. That's how you must be. Calm, confident, and unbothered. Your silence doesn't need validation. It carries its own authority. Sometimes silence is not just about not speaking. It's about not reacting emotionally. When someone disrespects you, silence keeps your power intact. When someone leaves you out or underestimates you, silence shows your self-respect. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't argue, you just grow. And nothing intimidates people more than a person who grows quietly. They don't know what's coming next. You become unpredictable, and that's dangerous in the best way. In relationships, silence can heal what words can't. When arguments get loud, silence brings back perspective. When love gets messy, silence shows maturity, because sometimes the best response is no response. It's your way of saying, I value my peace more than your approval. You don't have to win every battle. Sometimes walking away is victory. Even in your career, silence is power. Not every idea needs to be announced. Not every plan needs to be shared. Some things grow best in silence. Your next move, your goals, your dreams. Protect them from the noise. People can't ruin what they don't know. That's why they say, work in silence. Let success make the noise. Every great dreamer, every powerful creator, every unstoppable achiever, they all mastered the art of silence. They let time, not talk, prove their greatness. There's also emotional silence, when you learn not to overshare your pain. You stop running to people every time you're hurt. You stop announcing every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment. Instead, you heal quietly. You rise quietly. You come back stronger, quietly. And when you finally show up, the world wonders how you did it. They'll never know, because your silence guarded your transformation. Silence also gives you something the world rarely offers: clarity. When you're silent, you start hearing your inner voice again. You start understanding your own emotions instead of reacting to others. You begin to see who's really for you and who's not. Because when you go quiet, watch who gets uncomfortable. People who benefit from your confusion will hate your peace, but the ones meant for you will respect your stillness. In moments of anger, silence saves relationships. In moments of doubt, silence saves dreams. And in moments of pain, silence saves your spirit. It gives you the breathing space to think, to see clearly, to respond wisely. Because when you react in emotion, you often create regret. But when you respond in silence, you create respect. Think about the greatest moments of change in life. They often happen in silence. The seed grows underground before it blooms. The caterpillar transforms inside the cocoon unseen. The strongest changes don't make noise. They just happen. That's how your growth should be. Quiet but powerful, hidden but unstoppable. So when people try to provoke you, when life gets loud, when the world pushes for a reaction, remember, your silence is not weakness. It's your weapon. Every time you hold your peace when others expect chaos, you become stronger. Every time you choose stillness when others choose noise, you rise higher. Every time you keep your energy instead of wasting it on reactions, you step deeper into your power. Because silence, when mastered, turns you into something the world can't predict, can't provoke, and can't break. Build, don't explain. That sentence alone can change your life if you really understand it. Most people waste years of their lives trying to convince others of their worth, their dreams, their potential. They talk, they argue, they try to prove why their vision matters. But while they're busy explaining, the builders are busy building. The truth is, you don't need to explain your dreams to people who lack the imagination to see them. You don't need to justify your journey to people who have never walked your path. The most powerful thing you can ever do is keep quiet and build. Think about it. Every time you stop to explain your plan, you lose energy. Every time you pause to justify your decision, you slow down your momentum. People don't need your explanations, they need your results. Talk less, do more. Move in silence, let your success announce itself. Because when your work speaks for you, your critics become speechless. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine you decide to start a small business. The moment you tell people, everyone has an opinion, it's risky, you'll fail, you don't know enough. Are you sure this will work? And now, instead of focusing on the business, you find yourself defending it. You're spending energy explaining your why to people who have never even tried. That's how dreams die. Not because they're impossible, but because we waste our fire trying to light up people who prefer the dark. So stop explaining. Just build. Let your results silence the noise. Another example, when you start working on yourself, You decide to set boundaries, eat better, dress better, distance yourself from drama, and suddenly people start saying, "You've changed." Yes, you have. That's the point. You're not meant to stay where you were. But instead of defending your growth, show them what evolution looks like. You don't need to say, "I'm doing this for my peace." Just live it. Let the glow speak for you. Because when your energy shifts, explanations become unnecessary. Even in relationships, sometimes you try to explain your worth to someone who refuses to see it. You keep saying, "I deserve better, I'm trying, I care." But words mean nothing to someone who doesn't value you. So stop explaining. Build yourself. Build your peace. Build your future. When they see you thriving in the life they took for granted, they'll understand, but by then it'll be too late. Silence is not weakness, it's elevation. The one who builds doesn't have time to convince. Let's talk about your dreams. Maybe you have a big vision to become an artist, a designer, a writer, a speaker, an entrepreneur. You share it and people laugh. They call you unrealistic. They tell you to be practical. But remember, vision is given to you, not them. They can't see what you see because it wasn't meant for their eyes. So don't waste time explaining your dream to those who weren't given your perspective. Builders don't announce their blueprint. They just show up one day with a masterpiece that silences every critic. You ever notice how successful people rarely explain themselves? They just move differently. They don't argue with doubters, they outwork them. They don't tell you what they're going to do, they just do it. Because they understand that success is not built through words. It's built through action. The tallest buildings don't shout while being constructed. They rise, piece by piece, quietly, until one day they're impossible to ignore. That's how you should build yourself, quietly, consistently, intentionally. Even in your personal healing, stop explaining why you cut people off, why you chose peace, why you outgrew certain circles. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. The best apology you can ever give to your younger self is to stop defending your boundaries and start building your new reality. You can't heal and explain at the same time. The world doesn't need your reasoning. It needs your transformation. Take your career, for example. You may have coworkers who doubt you, who underestimate you, who think you don't have what it takes. Don't argue. Don't compete for attention. Just focus, learn, and grow. When your performance starts speaking, they'll have nothing left to say. There's a quiet kind of confidence that comes from progress, not words. Because real success doesn't need validation. It creates its own. And let's be honest, explaining yourself all the time drains your soul. Every time you try to justify your choices to people who don't care, you're giving them free rent in your mind. You're handing your energy to people who don't even pay attention to their own growth. You can't move forward while constantly looking sideways to see who approves. The moment you stop explaining, you start accelerating. Life becomes beautiful when you understand that not everyone needs to understand you. You don't owe the world a report card on your progress. You don't need to post every move, every decision, every sacrifice. Build quietly. Because while everyone is talking about what they're going to do, you'll already be living it. People respect consistency more than explanations. They admire results more than reasons. Even when you fail, you don't need to explain. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. So when things don't go as planned, stay silent and rebuild. Don't run around defending your setbacks. Let your comeback do the talking. There's a quiet power in someone who keeps standing up without needing to prove anything. Because every time you rebuild in silence, the world learns to respect your resilience. So in every area of life, love, dreams, business growth, choose to build, not explain. When people doubt you, keep building. When they mock you, keep building. When they walk away, keep building. You don't owe them your story. You owe yourself your destiny. Builders are remembered. Explainers are forgotten. Because in the end, the one who builds something real never needs to say a word. Their work becomes the proof. Their silence becomes the message. And their success becomes the loudest voice in the room. Focus is the new glow-up. People talk about glow-ups like it's only about looks, clearer skin, better outfits, makeup transformations, gym bodies. But the real glow up doesn't happen on your face. It happens in your focus. Because when you start focusing on your growth, your mindset, your goals, your peace, you start radiating something that no product can give you. The glow that comes from discipline, self-love, and purpose can't be faked. It's the kind of glow that turns heads without saying a word. We live in a world obsessed with appearances, where everyone is trying to look successful instead of actually becoming successful. But here's the truth. No amount of filters, followers, or fashion can replace the power of focus. Focus is the foundation of every transformation. When you decide to tune out distractions, when you stop comparing, when you lock in on your vision, everything about you starts to change. Your energy becomes magnetic, your aura becomes powerful, and your silence becomes louder than any trend. That's the real glow up. Think about it. You've seen people who stop explaining themselves and suddenly their lives elevate. That's not magic. That's focus. They stopped chasing validation and started chasing purpose. They stopped scrolling through other people's lives and started building their own. And soon people begin to ask, what changed? What changed is that they stopped being everywhere and started being awesomewhere. They stopped giving pieces of themselves to everything and started giving all of themselves to what truly mattered. Take the gym as an example. When someone walks in on day one, they might look lost, weak, or unmotivated. But when they focus, truly focus, and stay consistent, everything changes. Not just their body, but their confidence, their walk, their posture, their energy. You can literally feel it. That's what happens when you apply focus to your life. You build strength where there was weakness, discipline where there was doubt, and peace where there was chaos. Focus is not about perfection. It's about direction. In relationships too, focus is a glow up. When you stop chasing temporary attention and start focusing on your own healing, your energy shifts. You no longer crave validation from people who don't value you. You start realizing your worth, your peace, your priorities. And suddenly, you attract better. Because focused energy attracts focused energy. When you glow from within, you no longer need anyone to confirm your beauty or your value. That's when people start to see the difference. Not because you changed your looks, but because you changed your energy. Focus also transforms your finances. You ever notice how people who stop spending money just to impress others suddenly start building wealth? That's focus. When you stop buying for approval and start saving for freedom, your mindset changes. You stop living for the weekend and start living for the future. You stop showing off and start showing up. That's when your glow stops being temporary and becomes timeless. Because nothing glows brighter than financial peace and personal independence. Focus is also emotional maturity. When you stop reacting to everything, when you stop engaging in drama, when you stop trying to prove yourself, you level up. That's a glow up that can't be seen but can be felt. Imagine someone trying to provoke you and you just smile, stay calm and keep moving. That's power. When you're focused on your purpose, you don't have time for nonsense. You stop gossiping, you stop comparing, you stop wasting time. And that's when your energy becomes rare. Because most people are too distracted to reach that level. Think about students who focus on their studies while everyone else is out partying. People might laugh at them now, call them boring or too serious. But a few years later, those same people are looking up to them, wondering how they made it. That's the quiet reward of focus. It doesn't shine instantly, but when it does, it blinds. Focus demands patience, but it delivers power. The glow that comes from years of focus can't be matched by moments of attention. Even in your personal growth, focus is everything. When you start focusing on becoming emotionally intelligent, setting goals, building habits, and staying consistent, your whole life transforms. You stop trying to impress, and you start trying to improve. You stop waiting for opportunities, and you start creating them. You stop watching others shine, and you start working on your own light. Because the truth is, focus gives you clarity, and clarity gives you peace. And when you're peaceful, you naturally glow differently. You know those people who walk into a room and don't need to say a word, but everyone feels their presence? That's not luck. That's focus. Their eyes have seen struggle, their heart has survived storms, and their mind has learned discipline. Their glow comes from what they overcame in silence. You can't fake that kind of energy. You earn it by staying focused when no one's watching, by doing the work when no one's clapping, by believing in yourself when no one else does. That's what makes focus the real glow up. In the digital world, focus has become rare. Everyone's trying to multitask, trying to do everything, trying to be seen everywhere. But the truth is, when you chase everything, you catch nothing. The power is in depth, not in width. Be the person who goes deep into one thing and becomes extraordinary at it. Be the person who focuses so hard that distractions feel irrelevant. Because once you find your focus, your energy becomes unstoppable. Even in heartbreak, focus is your glow up. When someone breaks you, don't chase them, chase your goals. Don't post pain, post progress. Don't try to show them what they lost. Show yourself what you're capable of. Focus on your healing, your evolution, your elevation. That's how you win without saying a word. The glow from someone who built peace out of pain is the most powerful glow there is. So while the world is busy trying to look different, be the one who is a different. Don't just glow, grow. Don't just shine, focus. Because makeup fades, filters disappear, trends die, but focus builds a version of you that no one can dim. The woman who is focused glows from a fire that burns within her. A fire that no one can take, no pain can put out, and no distraction can weaken. That's not a glow up you wear, that's a glow up you become. When you stop chasing attention, you start attracting respect. When you stop explaining yourself, you start commanding presence. And when you stop trying to be seen, the world starts to notice your glow. The truth is simple. Focus is louder than words, and peace is louder than noise. You don't need to scream your worth to the world, you just need to live it, breathe it, and let your silence speak volumes. Because when you start focusing on your growth, your goals, your peace, everything that's meant for you will naturally align. You see, life doesn't reward those who constantly seek validation. It rewards those who build in silence and let success make the announcement. You don't need to tell anyone what you're working on. They'll see it when you arrive. You don't need to prove to anyone that you're capable. Your results will scream louder than your explanations ever could. The same people who doubted you will start whispering your name in rooms you've never entered. That's the power of self-focus. Every great transformation starts with quiet isolation. Think about a butterfly. It doesn't announce its cocoon stage. It disappears, it struggles, it transforms, and one day it just flies. That's your journey too. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your absence, your silence, or your boundaries. While they're busy talking, you're busy becoming. And when you finally rise, it won't be revenge. It'll be revelation. The moment you decide to focus on yourself, everything changes. You stop reacting to what they say about you. You stop giving energy to people who drain your spirit. You stop explaining why you're not available for every drama. You start protecting your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. People may not understand your silence, but they'll feel your power. They may not see your hustle, but they'll witness your success. Remember this. A lion doesn't turn around when a dog barks. Stay focused on your hunt. You have to become unapologetic about choosing yourself. There's nothing selfish about wanting to grow. There's nothing arrogant about prioritizing your dreams. The world will try to make you feel guilty for outgrowing people, for wanting more, for thinking differently, but never apologize for evolving. Flowers don't apologize for blooming just because someone preferred them as buds. You have every right to rise, to transform, to demand more from life. And when life gets loud, when the opinions, rejections, and doubts start clouding your peace, remember, your silence is your strategy. Don't argue, don't chase, don't beg, build. Every time someone underestimates you, smile, because they're giving you the gift of surprise. Every time someone ignores your effort, keep going, because one day your consistency will be undeniable. Every time you feel invisible, remind yourself, even stars shine only in darkness. You don't need to compete with anyone. You are not in a race, you are in your lane. What's meant for you can't be delayed by anyone else's success. Your timing is yours, your story is yours. Your glow up doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be real. Stay focused, stay grounded, stay kind, but most of all, stay consistent. Because focus and consistency can do what luck and talent alone never could. Every queen who's ever ruled her world began as a woman who refused to be distracted. Every empire was built by someone who chose discipline over attention, peace over chaos, purpose over validation. So if they ignore you, good. If they doubt you, better. If they walk away, perfect. Because their absence only clears space for your evolution. One day, the same people who underestimated you will say, I always knew you'd make it. But you'll know the truth. You didn't make it because of them. You made it because you ignored the noise, trusted the process, and bet on yourself when no one else did. That's the real glow up. That's the kind of power no filter can create. So don't just chase success. Embody it. Don't just dream it, become it. Don't just want to be seen, be undeniable. Because when you focus on yourself, you don't need to compete. You simply rise. Your silence, your focus, your peace, that's your crown. Wear it with pride. Walk in your purpose. Let your energy speak before your name ever does. And remember, queens don't chase, they attract. They don't explain, they evolve. They don't beg to be seen, they become impossible to ignore.